Up until only about 2 years ago, I had a very similar relationship with my parents that Applebloom had with Applejack in Somepony to watch over me. As a result, I have a very strong perspective from that side of the lesson, but like most other episodes this season, that's not the only lesson being presented. I'll be sure and try to get my head around the degree of practicality that lies within Applejack's side of things, and I look forward to further discussion in the comments. One of the reasons I believe it's important to have faith in those we care about is that it shows our respect and trust for them. I've talked before about how it's important to have this kind of faith in kids so that they can have both context and room to grow into well-rounded adults. Regardless of what our motivations for wanting independence might be, and regardless of what the motivations of our guardians might be, not having this trust reciprocated leads to serious issues. Mainly is that it can lead to resentment. I had a pretty sturdy idea of what I needed to do in order to reach my goals. Having my family, who I look up to, not trust me to be able to handle my path and in fact encourage me not to take it because they believed I was unable to, hurt on several different levels. I had no precedence for getting into trouble, and while I was not the brightest among my family, I had certainly come into my own by the time I wanted to pursue my goals. So it didn't make sense that they didn't trust me. This also made it impossible to convince them that my ambitions went beyond shallow goals such as mere titles. I did not like the fact that I could be held back from using my talents to better the world around me because I was looked down on. And despite everything else they had done for me, I was not fond of them for that either. But that's just me. There's another side to this still. I've met people who have been sheltered like Applejack was sheltering Applebloom for all their lives. These people, in one way or another, are almost incapable of handling themselves as an independent individual now. Most of them still live with their parents into their late 20s because they don't have the strength to do what's necessary to become independent. The rest barely live at all. So I did what Applebloom and many others do. Eventually, I got sick of it and rebelled. I started going on adventures and testing the limits of my abilities in high-risk situations. To take the path of least resistance, I usually made sure that my parents didn't find out about my plans until either after the fact or when it was already too late to change anything. After so many adventures, they saw that I could in fact handle myself, and from there, gaining their approval and support became much easier. These situations can make great proving grounds for ourselves, but we all have limits and it's important to know what they are. It's also important to know why we're doing what we do. I had a goal that I needed to fulfill. I was both smart and lucky enough to maintain safety and control throughout my adventures. But there's a lot of people out there that rebel for the sake of being rebellious, and it usually lands them in nothing but trouble. So if this is you, if you partake in risky behavior just to get back at people who have limited you in the past, I highly urge you to find your center and find something to focus your efforts on before it's too late. The reason why our parents or guardians, the Applejacks of our lives, worry so much is because that these dangers do exist. Our world has its own variations of the Flaming Geyser Swamp, the Everfree Forest, chimeras, and other monsters. Sometimes we even willingly associate ourselves with them. Sometimes we try to become them. If you don't know where you're going, how to get there, and why you're going there in the first place, it's very easy to get set down one of these dark paths. All of that being said, please keep in mind that the Applejacks of your life love you. They want what's best for you and don't want to see you fall victim. Please try to appreciate that even when you're rebelling for your own good. However, if you relate to Applejack in this episode, try to remember to back off those that you care about as they come into their own. Without a chance to hurt themselves, they won't have any chances to get tougher or smarter. Just do your best to teach them about the monsters that lurk in the swamp, how to avoid them, and how to defeat them. But when the chimeras appear, that's when it's time to leap into action and properly apply your desire to protect them from these dangers. So if you can trust those you love and give them room to grow, only helping them when it's absolutely needed, or if you can come into your own without putting yourself in unnecessary danger, then we won't need to do the same as Applejack and Applebloom. And that's the moral of the story. If you have a topic you would like to hear discussed, or if you have an episode, fanfiction, product, or anything else you would like to hear reviewed, send me a YouTube message or leave a comment below. You can also drop comments, questions, topic suggestions, and review suggestions by liking Brony Debates on Facebook, following on Twitter, or sending an email to bronydebates@yahoo.com. Have a great day, and I look forward to hearing from all of you soon.